And we're back on the Richard Fowler re-up, and as always on the Richard Fowler re-up, we're joined by the sensational, the amazing, the everybody loves her on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, Lauren Burke with 365 on the Hill. How are you, love?
Hey, how are you? How's it going? It's been a very
I'm
busy
good. Happy weekend to you.
Yeah, the weekend can't come soon enough. It's like everything happened this week. It was amazing.
So what is going on the Hill?
What's going on the Hill is the Senate is doing the nuclear. They're getting the Democrats are getting close to basically busting the filibuster and going for the nuclear option. You probably know also that the Farm Bill passed today in the House after failing 2 weeks ago, barely, but it really doesn't mean anything because it's not going to go any further.
So wait, and let's just pause for right there. So about the Farm Bill. So what we have heard, and tell me if I'm right or wrong on this, about the Farm Bill, is that the Farm Bill, it's like the Farm Bill, but it's taken food stamps out of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. They've separated food stamps out of the Farm Bill. So effectively what they voted on.
So it's just the farm subsidies.
Exactly. The farm subsidies for corporate farmers, which is basically corporate welfare. It's kind of funny how they don't want to consider that or define that as welfare, but effectively that is welfare, corporate welfare.
You know, I got to tell you, Lauren, and we're going to talk about this later on the show, but I think the Republicans, they love to, alter definitions. Like they don't think, like for example, the fact that they want to charge students more interest on their loans, which is a tax, but I digress.
Right.
Anyway, what else is happening on the Hill?
We see two patterns there. We see the pattern of just sort of wanting to come up with different ideas with no compromise, and we also see the Republican penchant for a policy of let's do nothing. That's what they did with health care. That's what they look like they're doing with immigration. Let's do nothing. That seems to be a policy now for them.
And beyond that, I mean, there's been so much, but I think even before we even, pick and poke at the right, let's talk about the left for a second. So there was a huge meeting, and this is the first time in, 720 days?
790 days.
90 days that the CDC sat down and met with the president.
Right.
What happened there?
Well, they had a very lively and very passionate meeting, which is a really sort of polite way of saying that, there was some really sort of moments in there that were sort of tense, but many of the members say there's a very good meeting with the president in terms of they knew the issues that, he wanted to talk about, in large part because the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Marcia Fudge, gave the president 6 issues that she wanted to go over. And they went over them, and so the president had been briefed beforehand, so he didn't have that I gotcha moment aspect, which is great. In journalism, I don't know why people want to do I gotcha questions. It's like you want an answer. So, of course, the president, which was good, was prepared on what they wanted to talk about. Parent Plus loans came up, which has been a real big hardship for HBCUs. There was a change in the credit standards by the Department of Education. They basically made the same standards more stringent. And 28,000 students at HBCUs were affected last fall, and so they talked a lot about that, a lot about violence and criminal justice policy. And today, this morning, a bunch of CBC members, led by the members from Chicago, Bobby Rush, Danny Davis, and Robin Kelly, announced an emergency urban violence summit that is going to happen in 2 weeks. So that came up with the president as well.
Well, I think, and that's good. I think, this is a step in the right direction. Clearly, I think there's a lot of folks out there, not only in progressive world, but in Black America, that are questioning the president. There are a lot of folks out there that support the president. And I think, there's also that middle group of people who they don't want to not support the president, so they're very quiet. I think, for example, historically Black college university presidents have been very quiet, as a lot of them are closing their doors and dealing with financial strife, and they're just not receiving as much support as they should receive.
Right.
From this presidency.
Right, and also, again, we have that dilemma. African Americans, of course, want to see this president do well. They vote for the Democratic Party 90% of the time, 90 plus. So there's not a big push out there to want to criticize this president. At the same time, we do see statistics with regard to the Black community getting worse, particularly with regard to youth unemployment and the unemployment in general. But the youth unemployment number is like the highest since World War II, or some ridiculous. It's at 43.6, which is a really high number. And so, yes, obviously people want to support the president. At the same time, they do want to see things get better.
I hear that. They definitely want to support the president. They definitely want to see things get better. So what's on tap for next week? Because we're just 3 weeks out from the August recess, when everybody goes home and back to their district. So what is on tap for next week on the Hill?
Well, voting rights. John Lewis and the Republican Jim Sensenbrenner, which helped do VRA, he helped usher it through as chairman of House Judiciary in 2006 during the last reauthorization, which was much criticized by John Roberts. They're going to testify to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Pat Leahy's committee, about the Voting Rights Act, the importance of the Voting Rights Act, obviously the next steps moving forward. So what you want to listen for, of course, is the details of what exactly are we doing next. Right now in the House, Congress, members of Congress, G.K. Butterfield, Bobby Scott, John Lewis are working very hard on what will probably be the next version of VRA.
I love it. Lauren, thanks so much for being on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Hey, Fowler Nation, the best thing you can do to support this channel is by clicking that subscribe button. And I got a secret for you. If we get to 1,500 subscribers, we will drop a special behind the scenes video just for you, Fowler Nation. That's how much I love you.